Got him.
There you go. Good fish?
Good fish.
Yeah, there we go. I'll net her for you now.
Well, let's hope she takes
Yeah.
and hangs tough. It's a bigger fish.
Yeah, that's a great fish. See it here. Show yourself.
Yeah, anytime.
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful fish, Al. Beautiful fish. We're rocking and rolling
There
with
we
this
go.
wind here, but
Yeah.
you can't complain. There we go. Nice.
There we
fish,
go.
Al. I'll get her out of the net here. You got the green stand up.
There we go. Nice.
Walleye, huh?
Yeah. I don't mind catching that size.
Oh,
Puts a bend in a pole.
yeah, that's fun.
You better believe it.
6 pound test.
Yeah, 6 pound test, stand up jig.
8,
Yeah.
9, 10 feet of water,
Yep.
and walleye like that, that's about as good as it gets on a jig.
Good as right. This is the season right now for that. Good.
Thank you. Even waved us goodbye. But we're on one of my favorite places. A great friend, Al Maas. We've done a lot of shows over the years, and what I think is so cool about Leech Lake is obviously it's a big body of water. But if you can imagine, Leech Lake is broken up into several different bays and basins per se. That each area's got its personality, and we're up in one of my favorite areas. Basically, this area north of Goose Island, this northwest corner of the lake. Big flats, and when you get wind like this, it's rocking and rolling, and the walleyes are snapping, and it's one of the greatest things ever. Going through these areas, snapping jigs.
Yeah, that's right, Jay.
Thump,
And
feel the
you
thump.
takes a lot of boats. I mean, it's a big wide flat. The fish are scattered across that. We don't have to hold a real tight profile most of the time.
Yeah,
and
just
it makes
finding
it
the
nice.
right drift.
Just to find the right drift. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely, and it works. But a lot of times you do need wind for this to really go.
That's exactly it. It is a wind-driven lake, no matter how you look at it.
The windier, the better. We're
Yeah.
getting a little bit of wind today, so hopefully we don't lose it.
Yeah, hopefully it keeps going.
Great way to start.
Good. It's just
Here's a good
unloading.
fish.
Good job, Grace. Good job. Oop, there we go. But good
Another-
fish?
Yeah, that's a good.
All right,
good
good
eater.
eater too, yeah.
It's a good fish if you were frying fish. Thank you.
You bet. Nice.
Yeah, that is nice to see.
You bet. We'll take it.
Kind of hard to let some of these go some days.
Yeah, they aren't in
That's
my
about
freezer
it.
either. So,
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
to freeze them. That's the thing. I like to eat
They're
them
fresh.
fresh. Yeah.
yep.
Got him. All right.
Ooh, where are we going?
Looks like a better fish.
Yeah, this is
huh?
a big fish.
Good, good.
Gee, that's a terrible feeling.
Isn't that? That
That
line
old head
stretches
shake,
a little
yeah.
bit, and big old tail the size of 2 hands.
Yeah.
Digging. All right.
Wow, she wants the bottom. Oh, yeah. Pretty nice fish there, Jace. Oh, a nice
Oh,
fish.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
We'll take it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's interesting too. We're on these big flats, and these spots are big, aren't they? Yeah.
These are, yeah, this is big as
Nothing wrong with
right.
that.
That's
Great
healthy.
fish.
They're really healthy there. That girth on those fish, they're filled out.
Yeah, I imagine they're eating a lot of young leader perch up here.
Yeah, and it's either
Crayfish?
perch or it's crayfish. It's going to be one of the two patterns. The overall report is we're down in perch as the samples with the DNR a little bit, but there's adequate that size that these fish are eating. The ones that we're down in, of course,
That's probably
are
why
the
the
big.
numbers are down.
That's exactly right. I'd chow down too,
Yeah,
But
these
he's healthy.
spots are so big though. That's the
Yeah.
thing is, they're big flats, and I think what happens sometimes is that people get intimidated when they look at a big flat. I mean, there's just a lot of nothingness out here. I mean, it's just a big flat, and a lot of times people don't consider jigs as a presentation for covering ground, but this snap jig. I mean, this has originated in this part of
Yeah, that's
Minnesota.
true.
As far as
Yeah.
people who've just been doing it for years, and just a matter of drifting with the wind and snapping that jig. And there's a technique to that you guys have perfected over the years that enables you to cover water.
Yeah, you do learn. You do learn. I have to agree with you. Like we were talking earlier, we either have to drag it, it seems like, as our cold water, it's going down now, but the snap jig, and you can modify how you do that too, but at different kinds of pauses, but it works really good out here.
Yeah, and basically you're just popping that rod tip, just getting that jig to
That's
just
it.
a dart.
Off, that's it. And the flash of that minnow, looking wounded, to them or whatever, They pop it, so.
Because in these big winds, you know, we might be drifting a mile an hour.
We're going.
You know, I mean, we're moving along.
Yeah.
So we're, you know, we're basically covering water, but you know, that mentality that a jig isn't used for searching for fish or isn't used for covering water necessarily isn't true when you fish them.
That's
fish
true.
them this way. Nice work. You know, you look at jigs, there's just so much flexibility. There's so many different ways you can fish a jig, and in so many different places. Braided line is something that's really come in big time and changed jig fishing. You know, there's so many different areas, for example, on rivers. Back home where I live on Devil's Lake, you know, we're using braided line, pitching jigs up into weed beds. But I tell you what, just from my experiences, this is one situation where old school monofilament shines. And I think what it is that, you know, we're getting the jigs away from the boat, and the key is either the wind's got to be pushing the boat, or we're moving the boat fast enough with the trolling motor where it's just ticking, it's just skipping. If you're just fish straight up and down, there's enough enough junk on the bottom where that jig just gets buried. And so a lot of times this jig with this minnow on it it's just floating off the bottom. It momentarily hits the bottom, and then it gets snapped up, and it's just coasting off the bottom up where these fish can find it, where they can see it. And if you use too heavy a jig, you bog down on that junk that's on the bottom. But you look at monofilament, you can see that how Al's just snapping that rod tip. We're snapping these rods, but that's just causing that jig just to coast up off the bottom and slide and glide, and that's the whole key. And the fact that monofilament's a little bit more buoyant, I don't see monofilament getting replaced by braid anytime soon in this type of a fishing situation. I'm using 6-pound bionic mono. I'm using a 6'2" medium action fast tip Jason Mitchell walleye rod, just a fun rod to catch fish with when you're jigging, but just a sensitive, lightweight setup. And the whole key though, just balancing the right jig, the right line, and moving the right speed. I can't tell you how many times I've had this happen to me over the years. I'm sure you can relate to this, Al, where you're catching fish really good, and all of a sudden the wind starts to change or switch or die down, and you just can't get it going until you speed up again. You know, and a lot of times you might have to back troll or whatever, but it's just a matter of you just got to get moving fast enough to just cause that jig to skip off the bottom. There, I got him. Yep.
Good show. Good show. Well, that's better. A little better.
Yeah.
Come on, Jace.
Oh,
I can knock it off.
Oh,
for
I think
you. I
it's a
tried.
smallmouth, huh? Must have jumped. Oh, come on. Yeah. Get him out of the net here.
Good show.
Well, that's nice to see. There's a
bet.
lot of places you can fish right now and not find many walleyes to eat. So I personally can never complain about catching that size of fish.
I'll take that any day of the week. When we started jigging, I was taught by a guy, and nobody on Leech Lake was jigging at all, and I was living on the island when I first came up here.
Yeah.
Way back, and he was just kicking our butt. I mean, I couldn't believe what a jig was. I didn't even know what it was. So that started out, well, the first color was green.
Yeah.
Just like we're using right here right now. And so then they made that round-headed jig, and that still does. They sell a pile of them. But these don't get, you know, they don't pick up much weeds. They stand up a little different.
Yeah. There you go. Never get tired of that, huh?
No. Better fish though, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dandy. There we go. There. All right.
I can handle that.
Yeah. Most people would. Nothing wrong with that. Get them out of the net here for you. Yeah, just a classic Leech Lake pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, that's no lie.
You know, and what's really neat is sometimes you can go out of some of these areas on a calm, flat day when the water clears up. You can almost see the sand and the grass. It almost looks like a marbled cake where you have light patches and dark patches, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, but that in itself is an ecosystem these fish relate to, isn't it?
No lie. That Cara that you're seeing on the bottom, they love that stuff. And some days they're on that sand, Jason, other times they're on the other stuff. But It evidently brings their food supply into it too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you could see it, like you say, a dark spot, light spot. So then you put the wind over the top like we got going, and makes great fishing on
Yeah,
the
because
flats.
most of these flats are less than 12 feet of water.
Oh yeah, all the
Yeah.
way across this whole thing. You maybe find 15 max.
Yeah.
That'd be about it though.
You know what's incredible too is you'll find fish on this all summer long and all winter long.
Correct.
You
Yeah,
know,
there's
just
boats
always fish out here.
here in summer, and there's fish houses all over in the winter.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Nice work.
breaks us up. Yeah. It's a better fish, Jace.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is now. Water's just got a little bit of a stain
Yeah,
from
nice
this
fish.
wind, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fish doesn't want to surrender.
No, good attitude.
Come on. There you go. Yeah, thank you, sir.
You bet. Nice job.
Get him onto the net here.
Well, I think. Dandy.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong
Oh,
with
I
that.
know, that's
huh?
good fish.
Strike
good
a little bit of a pose there. Just using I don't know, I've been experimenting with small, medium-sized rainbows, but what's so interesting is, you get into northern Minnesota for what would you say the first half of the year, well, at least when the shiners spawn, springtime, early summer, this jig fishing is just dominated by jig and shiner bite.
Yep.
If you don't have shiners, you're wasting your time.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
right.
just amazing how these fish key in on these shiners, and then summer progresses and it really shifts over to rainbows. And we were discussing this early, why rainbows, and what we figured is that they're the right profile, the right shape, and they're very durable, and they've got just a lively, hard action.
Yeah,
And,
they stay alive. I mean,
yeah, they do.
Nice part about they're not soft, and I like the shiner, and the action is they're always going.
Yeah,
They're
just a
durable.
tough,
Just keep your
hard
minnow
minnow.
bucket closed because they'll jump out.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you learn.
Yeah. And you look at where they find rainbows, it's a rainbow day, as you were discussing earlier, how they
Right.
trap them back in beaver dams and really shallow streams. Isn't it amazing? People always talk about matching the hatch. And
Yeah,
and
that's
we just
basically-
talked about the
yeah.
shiners. That's
Yeah.
a perfect example of that. But you look at a rainbow, these walleyes have probably never even seen a rainbow.
That's the
Or,
same thing when you look at them fishing a rainbow trout like a crankbait.
Yeah.
Purple?
Yeah,
Purple with
or,
black dots?
or a night crawler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just,
So what do we know?
there's all kinds of different
Yeah,
nuances with fishing that sometimes don't make any sense.
that's right.
There we go. Got him. All right, Al. Nice work. Get out of the way here. How's he feel?
I think it's in between.
I'll let it for you
Oh,
here.
there he is, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Get him out of the net here.
Boy, a lot of those fish.
Yeah, they're good to see. Good to see it.
Yeah.
Hey, look at the plotter on the GPS, and it's just lines, and we're just basically lining up and drifting across, and we'll hit a particular drift where we'll get a little bit of activity. We'll hit it again, and you can just see these fish are moving all over this, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are.
And there's no doubt about it. When this wind blows, these fish move even more. If this wind were to lay flat, this gets to be a tough bite, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, one of those instances where you pray for wind. There's not
Yeah,
many
that's
times
a
you can
fact.
say that, huh?
The more wind, the better it is.
Yeah.
Jason Mitchell Outdoors will be right back.
From our base camp in Devils Lake, North Dakota, we travel the whole Midwest looking for the best fishing bites. If you'd like real-time fish reports, find out what bodies of water that we're fishing, just to find the general patterns and techniques that we're using, give us a like on Facebook and hit the road with Jason Mitchell Outdoors. Here's a good fish.
Huh? Okay.
Nice fish, Al.
Oof.
Just staying down.
Yeah, nice.
Boy,
nice
these are
one.
just scrappy, aren't they?
They are. Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Attaboy.
Thank you, sir. Thank
You're welcome.
You. Oh, I tell you what, this is a jig fisherman's dream, I think. Come up here. net here. We've been switching, I don't know, we haven't been using too many big rainbows, but just that medium size.
Yeah, see, they want that.
Size rainbow, and that can change from day to day too.
Yep.
And, yeah, just a great fish. Good deal. There. Fish was even mad when he swam off.
That's good.
Yeah. You see it here, yeah, I don't know. This has been kind of the color combination.
Yeah, see, you got that orange underneath.
A little bit of orange on the bottom.
Yep.
That's been
seems to make the game.
Yellow perch and the
I think that's right.
fish.
Right.
Just a color combination that's really predominant out here.
Today we're fishing with stand-up jigs. We've got Fireball stand-up made by Northland Tackle, and they have a distinct angle. There's two different versions right here. One's a little bit more distinct than the other one. And the nice thing about these jigs is, number one, they present the minnow up like it's feeding or wounded. Second thing is, it doesn't hook the weeds as much as the others. And the other thing is, you usually don't have the spin or the tangle that's actually occurring. So we're using this out here on these flats. It's good just about anywhere we can rip through it. The color that's been productive for us today, in this case, has something to deal with orange. And I think what's going on here is they're chasing the crayfish, and this orange is showing up as that. It's been good. The other color is this one here. It's called Parrot. Got a blue top, but as you see, it's also got an orange on the bottom. The red hook that's on these things, I think, as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't have to be there. The other version that we deal with then is the next one. When you have to fish high winds, you go to the next size up. Same jig, you just go to more weight. So you place your jig in position and trying to keep it at a 45-degree angle if you possibly can. Some days straight up and down, but most of the time we're fishing 45. We're using a light wrist action to it, snap jig aggressively some days, and you'll feel this bunk take place, and then we'll catch the fish that way and set. This was the original jigs that called Fireball jigs that are still very popular today. The round jig, this is great for when you're pitching into rocks or into sand, but when you get out into the weed beds, they have a tendency to collect more weeds. Also, they don't stand upright, they ride down. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But this pattern has caught many, many, many millions of fish. So you have the two different options to deal with, and you can adjust accordingly to that. That's got a big one.
Nice work. We were due for a...
Yeah, pretty soon.
We were due for a big fish.
Hopefully. Coming up, Jace.
Oh yeah. Nice one. Nice one. There we go.
Dandy.
There. Nice work, Hal.
That one was hit hard.
Boy, when you set the hook, that rod just
Yeah, stood still.
Yeah,
That's a dandy there.
That's as good as it gets there. Yeah, beautiful
nice fish.
No, I tell you what, this is just such a fun way to catch fish. I just love when
Yeah, it is.
you
I like
set back.
staying still.
Oh yeah, that mono just stretches and you can barely pry them off the bottom. And, it is such a predominant pattern that, I mean, you were talking earlier, you wonder how many thousands of fish have been caught on this very flat that we're sitting.
No kidding.
Just there's a lot of nostalgia with this too, because we're on classic spots, on classic lakes in northern Minnesota where, a lot of memories have been made right where we're sitting right here.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Absolutely, a lot of fish.
That's a fact.
And you know what the neat thing about it is that 10 years from now, there'll be people catching fish
Doing
on
the
these
same thing.
spots.
You bet.
Absolutely.
Very healthy fishery, yep.
Thank you, Al. It's always a pleasure.
You bet.
Jason Mitchell Outdoors has been brought to you by Shields, North Dakota Tourism, Yar-craft Boats, Yamaha, Onyx, Sonar Phone, Salmo, Northland Fishing Tackle, and Jason Mitchell Elite Series Rods.
To find out more information on Jason Mitchell Outdoors, make their official webpage one of your favorite pages. Find out upcoming show schedules and air times, along with past shows, article and product reviews at jasonmitchelloutdoors.com. Great information on the outdoors is just one click away.